Hey friends, this video is for our 2-year-old's room for September week 3. All month long we are asking the question, who loves you no matter what? And our bottom line, God loves me no matter what. And we're kind of talking about all of our emotions and that God loves us whether we're sad or frustrated or happy or angry. God loves us no matter how we are feeling. And our memory verse for this month is trust in the Lord with all your heart. Proverbs 3:5. So the first week we talked about how Hannah was sad, and then the second week we talked about Gideon being afraid. This week our story is focused on God loves me when I am frustrated. Moses was leading the Israelites, but they complained no matter what God did for them. Moses talked to God about his feelings of frustration, and God sent people to help Moses. Moses knew that he could trust God with all of his heart and that God would love him and help him. So jumping into our leader guide for the week, we would love for you to join us at 8:20 and 10:20 in the garage door room for coffee and donuts and prayer. Such a great time to lift one another up in prayer, and the prayer team is there to pray with us as well, which is so awesome. Then just make sure that you are to the 2-year-old's room by 8:30 and 10:30. When kids start to roll in at 8:40 and 10:40, they can just play with toys in the room. You can start to clean up at about 5 after. And then there's a couple little intro activities that you can do. The first one is called Follow the Bubbles. So we've got our little bubble machine. I replaced the batteries in that last week and some bubble wands up there. And so you're just going to say, okay, friends, I have some bubbles for us to play with today. I'm going to blow the bubbles, and I want you guys to try to pop them. And I want you to follow the bubbles. Wherever they go and pop them, there's going to be bubbles everywhere. And then after you play for a while, say, good job, friends. Today we're going to hear a Bible story about a man named Moses and how God loved him no matter what. And then another little intro activity that you can do before a large group, or you could even do it after a large group if you want, is you're going to have the kids go through the tunnel, which the tunnel is hanging right up there by your door. And you're going to say, okay, friends, you're going to line up with me, but before we get a turn, we're going to listen close because we're going to say something very important. So you're going to say, yay, it's Lola's turn. Say this with me. God loves Lola no matter what. And then she'll crawl through the tunnel. And you'll do that for each kid. So you can even do that when you get back from large group if you'd like. Then just make sure at 9:20 and 11:20 you head out to large group. When you get back from large group, just a couple of little activities. One is the memory verse walk. So there's all these different little emoji faces on these little placemat things. So you can put those around the room in a big circle. And you're just going to practice the memory verse. So you're saying, look at these faces on the floor. There's a happy face, a silly face, a frustrated face. I bet that's what Moses' face looked like when he was frustrated with the Israelites. Well, I want you guys to all stand on one of the faces, and we're going to say our memory verse together. Practice the memory verse. Say, good job. Now we're going to walk on all the different faces as we say the memory verse together, and just kind of walk in a circle like the cakewalk and say the memory verses. And then, all right, let's sit down on a circle, and we're going to say the memory verse again. And then you can close with God loves Lola and Trip and Henry and all the kids in the class and say God loves every one of us and we can always trust God. No matter if we're happy or sad or frustrated, we can always talk to God because God loves us no matter what. Who loves you no matter what? God loves me no matter what. And then finally the little craft for this week. So theirs are just blank and it says God loves me when, and then I've got all these, each kid will get a thing of stickers. And when they flip it up, this one says sad. So you guys could say, can you show me your sad face? All right, you guys are going to take your sad face sticker and you're going to put it on here because God loves you even when you're sad. What about this one? Can you guys show me your afraid face? Good job. You're going to take your afraid face and put it on here because God loves you even when you're afraid and frustrated and happy. And say, God loves you when you're all those things. God loves me no matter what. So you can close down by saying, today in our Bible story, we learned that God loves us no matter what. That's right, whether we're happy, sad, afraid, frustrated, just like God loved Moses when he was frustrated. Moses was the leader of the Israelites, God's people. Moses tried to do what was best for them, but they kept complaining. First, they were hungry, so God sent them bread. Then they were thirsty, so God made water come out of a rock, but they still weren't happy. They wanted more food, different food, and they wished they were back home. This made Moses frustrated. So Moses talked to God and told him he was frustrated. And God listened and sent people to help Moses take care of everyone. God loved Moses even when he was frustrated, and God loves us no matter what. Who loves you no matter what? God loves me no matter what. So that is it for this week, friends. Super simple little week. I know I get frustrated, and I for sure know that 2-year-olds get frustrated, so what a great lesson to learn. Thank you guys so much for serving this Sunday, and we'll see you then.